immigration, open borders. In fact, she faced trial 5 times for inciting racial hatred as she criticized the Muslim invasion of France. She said at one time, "We're seeing the multiplication of mosques while our church bells fall silent due to a lack of priests." She was all about protecting the integrity and the culture of France. Brigitte Bardot, an activist for preserving France.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
So I hear an out-of-towner asking someone, "Where's the best place to eat?" Before they could respond, I said, "Cafe Napoli." "Where?" "Well," I said, "Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, right next door to Napoli C, and then you got Napoli Kirkwood, plus you got Napoli Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield." You'll find Napoli everywhere. It's not too early to book a party and buy gift cards. Cafe Napoli. 2026, a great time to visit Lit Cigar Lounge. The Lit Cigar Facebook has numerous events from tastings to music. My main reason for going to Lit is always quality cigars, premium whiskeys. Odds are we'll see each other at Lit Cigar Lounge. A few doors down, Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta. Get a pizza baked over coals. Excellent crust and flavor. Or choose one of the many great pasta dishes. You won't leave hungry. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta and Lit Cigar Lounge in the Chesterfield Valley.
This is News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton, and we're proud to be the official winter weather source for News Talk STL. The First Alert Weather Team is working hard to keep you ahead of the big weather changes and help you plan your day. So stay connected this winter with Channel 4 and News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
I want everybody who's a person of faith to say a prayer for those 2 National Guardsmen.
They were targeted.
Investigators calling today's attack a targeted shooting of 2 National Guards members.
They're peacekeepers. They were sent to Washington to help maintain the peace in our nation's capital.
Our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America.
Make no mistake, they will be brought to justice.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis is #1
for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fenceworks, celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here with you and Ashlyn over there, and we are just rocking into the new year. It seems like, I don't know why. It might be because I'm doing radio in the late afternoon also, but it seems like this week is like a never-ending week. Like, when is New Year's Day gonna come? I mean, seriously, it's like, oh, I mean, it's been great and everything. It's been fun, but it's Just wondering when that New Year's. What are you doing New Year's Eve? Ashton, you guys do something New Year's Eve? I don't know what I'm doing New Year's Eve. We're gonna be here though, at least from 12 to 2.
I'm probably gonna bake cookies or something.
Again.
Yeah.
More cookies. That's how it's all going to go. So anyway, yes, you are in the 3 martini lunch, and before I was also, I think part of it too is that I oftentimes I want to come in and I want to do a show that is informative and entertaining, and then I come across something that really gets. Oh yeah, Amy says it's going way too fast. I know, but probably did. I know that it went way too fast when I wasn't working. So I'm not complaining about anything. I'm just saying it went way too fast when I wasn't working, and now it's going a little slow. Anyway, I think it's because of that Phoenix radio thing. And to tell you the truth, I don't want to do that anymore. Don't tell them, but I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't really, and because I have so much going on right now, to tell you the truth, it's not very fun for me, so maybe that's kind of it. So I'm just going to lay it out there. I hate doing radio in Phoenix for iHeart. Let's just put it that way. I'm just going to lay it out there and say, I'm not doing that anymore. So, I just don't like it. It's not that, and plus it's not that important to me. I like being with you guys, being with a bunch of strangers out in Phoenix. Like I care, Like I'm so what are they going to hire me and suddenly do syndication? That's never going to happen. So I'm kind of like, and then I run into something, and so I got that out of my system. That's good. And then I there's something I want to tell you guys, but then I feel like I'm being kind of a, I don't want you to I don't want this to be akin to doom scrolling, for you. Like you go through the phone, like every little thing is like, oh my Lord, But I feel like I also want to be a warning to you. I want to sound the alarm. I want to be your Paul Revere for the future. So I have something to tell you in just a little bit. But first, I want to get to basically my favorite story of the day. This might be my favorite story of the year because I think this is great. Okay, and this I kid you not, this is true. So this happened in southern Italy, and it was a 38-year-old illegal alien from Ghana. And they were basically chasing after him, and he'd been sentenced to 9 months and 15 days in prison in Bologna, but managed to flee south before serving his term, his full term. So they were chasing him. They kind of found him, and they chased him. And I actually think this guy should be, I think he should be given Italian citizenship just for his creativity. So they chase him, and he disappears into a life-size Christmas nativity scene. And he tries to pose as one of the 3 wise men. And there's actually like a picture of him standing there, and he's got his arms up in front of him. Like I don't know why a wise man would be doing that, but he's got like his arms up in front of him, and he's posing like he's a statue. So he tried to get away by posing as one of the 3 wise men. I mean, you gotta give him that. You know what I mean? You gotta as much as we have been talking about how illegal aliens are crazy and we don't like them around and everything else, I have to hand it to the guy that he posed as one of the 3 wise men. Oh, which is funnier than what happened in Times Square. As you all know, the ball is going to drop in Times Square for the for New Year's Eve, and there's a big sign on they have those rolling kind of neon signs, and you can plug them in, and they light up. Yeah, Allman, they're light up signs. Okay, yeah, that's right. And so one of them says Jesus was Palestinian, which I don't really know, and I don't care, but I don't think Jesus was Palestinian. But I also don't need to get into the whole idea that what Jesus was Palestinian, so that's why we kill Jews. Like, what are you trying to gain from telling me that Jesus was Palestinian, or even for that matter that Jesus was Middle Easterner, right? Because I'm assuming they are. I don't care. Dark skinned, yeah, that's great. So why would you use that as some kind of rationalization for murdering Jews and flying planes into buildings? I'm trying to figure that out. Well, Jesus was a Middle Easterner. I'm like, yeah. And so what am I supposed to gain from that? That somehow you're Jesus because you're marching around advocating for the extermination of Jews? I'm trying to figure out what your point is here. So I don't really know this whole thing about the rationalization of violence or of treachery or of illegal activity. I just don't understand it, which is where I'm going with what's happening now, for instance, in Minnesota. And I've come to the conclusion, and I think that this is going to be, it's not a fun conclusion necessarily, but I will tell you that after seeing people try to explain away the fraud that's going on in Minnesota right now with the Somalian community, I saw Jessica Tarloff, for instance, who, by the way, for a while there, she was, kind of tolerable. At first, she had a voice that I couldn't listen to. And then I think she went through some kind of training or did some kind of surgery or something on her voice so that it made her actually listenable at times. But if you have seen the level at which the mainstream media and others are trying to pretend that the video that Nick Shirley took doesn't exist, it's really more than just, well, this is another of the same thing coming to us from the mainstream media. This is actually a really bad disease among Democrats, among the left, and among the news media. And first of all, let me get to Jessica. This is what she had to say.
Nick Shirley's reporting there's no way that this kid walking around uncovered $100 million worth of fraud on his own.
Yeah, so she's saying somehow he was put up to it or did whatever, and this is all just a bunch of craziness, and it all really didn't happen, and this has been going on for a long time, and everything else. But here's the problem with this, and this is why I want you to take this ultra seriously in the coming year. Because if you don't, it could affect your life, and it could affect your children. And so while normally I am a very happy-go-lucky individual, I will tell you that all you need to do is look at what's happening with the reaction to the Somalia fraud and the Somali refugee fraud. And don't think of it as just another example of how the left attaches itself to the most horrible people on the planet, which it has. But you need to look at it as the last straw, your last warning that these people do not care about this country and they do not care about you. The first indication of that really was more pronounced was the celebration of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I would never have imagined in a million years living in a country where even one person celebrated the attempted assassination of a president. Like, we take it for granted, like, oh, there's the internet again. There's Twitter again. But to imagine a world where even one human being celebrated the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, what would have 40 years ago been considered unimaginable. And maybe it is a product of the internet and we're just seeing people for who they are on the internet. I don't know. Then you saw what happened with Charlie Kirk and the murder of Charlie Kirk. And when you saw teachers and people working for EMS, people in the news media and other individuals celebrating his murder, that was very, very, very serious. Because you have to understand that if something happened to you as a Trump supporter or as a conservative or whatever, you have to realize that half of this country wouldn't care, and another third of it would probably celebrate your demise. And this is the world where your children are growing up. So when you look at the Somali fraud and you look at how everybody is just rationalizing this really diabolical, organized theft of taxpayer dollars and abuse of the system, this is more than just fraud. This is a big, gigantic FU to the United States of America from the Somali people who care little about even bothering to assimilate in this country. They hate Americans. They hate this country. They hate Minnesota. They hate Tim Walz. And this is more than just fraud. So you have to realize that while we have regular Americans, people who are born here, who don't give a crap about this country and embrace really super bad people, imagine how we have flooded this country with a bunch of foreigners who don't even care, who don't care how to learn how to drive in traffic or just comport themselves, even standing in line, whatever. I mean, you've infused all of these people into this country that just see the country as a place that owes them. Like, it owes them a life. And these foreigners, I don't care whether they're here on green cards or whatever, they resent you. And their children will grow to resent you and your children. That's the world that we're living in right now. And until we muscularly defend ourselves and not be afraid, and even if it means at some point doing something drastic, because this country is worth fighting for. And at some point, we're going to have to lay it on the line here and talk in real ways and understand what we're up against. More importantly, understand what our children are up against. Because I'll tell you one thing, these foreigners who are coming in here are crapping out babies by the dozens. And they're littering this country with their spit. And those people are not going to grow up respecting this country, respecting its values, respecting the flag, respecting other Americans, and comporting themselves as Americans. That's happening. That's just the reality here. And let me tell you something. There are a lot of people who are afraid to say that. You know why? They're afraid that they're going to be fired, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that, or they're going to be called racist or whatever. Well, guess what? I am unburdened by that problem because I don't care. Because if I'm going to get fired or held out to dry because of what my opinion is, then I'll take it someplace else. But the reality is, we have got to understand what's happening here. And so the way that they're rationalizing this fraud at the hands of the Somalis, this is a serious, serious thing. Not the fraud by itself, but the rationalization of it, of the abuse of this system, of the abuse of this country, and of the way in which the Democrat Party is operating as a transnational crime syndicate. That's what it's doing. And I'll tell you, when it comes to all of the examples, and I'm not normally like, oh, I hate Democrats, I hate them, but the reality is we have to also understand what these people are doing. I mean, you've got like people like Tim Walz who are calling people white supremacists for calling out fraud. These people are serious about hurting you, are serious about doing damage to you, and they would. So if you just take the example of how these people celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk, imagine that as a symbol of how they will celebrate the murder of this country and the demise of it, and the demise of you and your children. And they're walking around. They're in the news media. They're open about it. They don't even care. Like Tim Walz, you'd think, wow, dude, you're going to call this Nick Shirley guy a white supremacist because he's running around asking questions about fraud that you've acknowledged is happening. That's how mercenary these people are. And let me tell you something else. Tim Walz has a daughter who is going to grow up and have babies. And his daughter is as bad as he is. So there is a generational threat to this country and our ideals. And we've got to be aware of it, and we've got to make sure that we don't slough it off. And, it's gotten to the point now where we're kind of there's the mainstream media again. There's the mainstream media again. There's the but you have to understand, you have to put this in a context of how people really are. And here's the thing. You've got a messaging system. You've got a news media that is actively working as propagandists for the Democrat Party and really horrible people. And you've got a news media that will outwardly lie without any shame at all. And then when they get held to account, like for instance, 60 Minutes got held to account by Barry Weiss, they get pissed. They all threaten this and talk about the demise of journalism simply because someone said, hey, you know what? You need to go back to the drawing board and make this story more balanced. Did you see how inflamed they got? And then we have to also realize and celebrate this, that I'll take 42 minutes of a Nick Shirley YouTube video over 20 years of 60 minutes any day. We have to understand that the people like Nick Shirley are the kind of people that we need to be elevating and pushing forth and working towards. And instead of getting mad, which is easy to do, we need to just get even and get rougher. And listen to what sounds like hold music, because it gives us a sense of peace. And now we pause for station identification. Please stay tuned to the 3 Martini Lunch and the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Yeah, so now you can just breathe. I wanted to just tell you what was going on. Just give you a little primer as you head into the new year. I don't want to make you mad or depressed or anything. I'm here to help. That's what I am. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your Paul Revere. And one other shoe has to drop. And I'm going to drop it on the other side of this. This is Common Sense Radio and the 3 Martini Lunch, people.
Yes, it is the way she does just what she's told down to me. The change has come, she's under my thumb.
I really like all the things you're saying.
News, analysis, opinion.
Thank you very, very much.
News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Why has Steph's Pizza become the place to go for St. Louis-style pizza, appetizers, salads, and pastas? One taste and you'll know. Dine in, pick up, delivery, even DoorDash. Locally owned and operated with legendary pizza and a new location in Lake St. Louis at 111 Palm Fort Trail, in St. Peters, St. Charles, and the original Stephanitas in O'Fallon on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Steph's Pizza is proud to be part of the News Talk STL family. Check them out at stephspizza.com. And remember, tonight's a good night for Steph's Pizza.
News, analysis, opinion.
Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work.
Today, alongside this peace treaty, we also are signing a major trade deal.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here with you, and happy to be so. And, of course, we have Ashlyn over there. So here's the situation, people, and this is why it's really going to be... Oh, Julie says we used to roller skate to this song. I know. Whatever happened to roller skating? What happened to the volume on this? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought so. I don't know what I did there, Ashley. Maybe I turned it down. No, I didn't. Maybe it's just down. Do they still roller skate, by the way?
My generation did, but I think it kind of died down after that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Gen Z. So let's see. I was born in 97. So I think after like the mid 2000s, it kind of died down.
Oh, yeah. It used to be really cool. That was like the socialization place. Roller skating. And people had like, fancy roller skates and things like that. Ice skating was a different story. Ice skating was kind of not as much fun. And Julie says she nearly killed herself last year. She must have gone roller skating. That is the thing. There's always these hot dogs, Usually the ice skating is where the guys do the hot dogging, but yeah. All right, so here's the thing that will demoralize a generation and a culture really quickly. And that is when bad things are happening and nothing happens to the people doing the bad things. Which is why the country, up before President Trump became president a second time, which was, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to be crazy, but what I'm telling you is that the only explanation I can find for President Trump returning is God. There's only saving our country. Because I'm telling you what, even had he lost in 2016, it would have been devastation. It would have been terrible. And obviously the election was stolen in 2020, but it wound up benefiting us because President Trump came back stronger than ever with a stronger cabinet and lots of lessons learned. And the fact of the matter is, we're finally, which is why people hate him so much, there's finally accountability. Up until now, at least, there's finally accountability. President Trump is blowing up drug boats, and yesterday announced that they blew up the dock where the drug boats are coming. And guess what? It's one big FU to the news media and everybody else. President Trump is completely and totally in control, as is his cabinet, which is frustrating a lot of people. The arrests of illegal aliens by ICE, the border issue, the economy, where people are finally starting to be able to afford things, and things, even gasoline is priced beautifully. As I told you yesterday, my avocado story, all these things are happening. And so, and there's finally some level of accountability, and there's also some level of independence, because we have Nick Shirley, who is running around with an iPhone. And it wasn't CBS, it wasn't NBC, it wasn't ABC, it wasn't CNN, it wasn't the New York Times, the Washington Post. It was a dude named Nick. And so I can imagine someday it's like, hey, what's Nick doing tonight? What's on Nick tonight? Because that's the end around that we need. But there has to be a level of accountability, and there has been, which is creating a level of happiness and peace among all the right people, and it's creating a real problem and a real unease for the people who need to feel that way. And so in many ways, what President Trump is doing with his very consequential actions is he's kind of exploding a die pack, and we kind of know who the people are that we need to avoid and that we need to erase from any kind of prominence or what have you. And, you're kind of noticing that. I don't know whether it's with relatives or with friends or what have you. You're kind of seeing people are like, man, you're really a bad person. That's interesting. Huh. I never really knew that. I didn't know how. I knew there was something wrong with you. I just didn't know really how bad you were. And so we're finally kind of learning, like, people are freaking out. They're kind of showing themselves, and that's a good thing too. So we're finally getting to a point now where there's a level of accountability and everything else. But with this Somali fraud, the administration and other people are in danger of not doing anything about this. And Tim Walz needs to be in prison, as do most of and Keith Ellison and these individuals and anybody else involved with this. Ilhan Omar, they need to be in prison. They need to be indicted. They need to be pursued by the Department of Justice, and they need to be in prison. And more importantly, every Somali who is not a citizen needs to be deported. They need to be removed from the country. In fact, anybody who isn't a citizen needs to go. That just has to happen. So we need to reset this country. And if you're here on a green card, that's fine. Green card away. But once you're done, get out. And there will be a heavy-duty monitoring system, and we'll figure that out. But if you're here as a refugee, you need to get your ass out of the country. And what's interesting, I saw something in the Post-Dispatch. It's like, well, boy, President Trump is really putting a crimp on efforts to grow the Afghan community. Why in the hell are we growing the Afghan community? What is that all about? Because they won't even say the word American. Oh, we want to grow the Afghan community. It's like, that tells you everything you need to know about how these people see what being an American is. There's no such thing in the minds of many of these people, including people who run newspapers. There shouldn't be anything called the Afghan community. If it's not called the American community, it shouldn't exist. And I understand that we have things like, the Hill, and I mean, I get it. I mean, we've had, the Italian American and Chinatown, and I get all that. But you know what? I don't need to explain that. We know what we're talking about here. We know what this is. So coming back and saying, well, we're a nation of immigrants, that doesn't cut it anymore. Because you're looking at people who are illegally here. And I frankly do not want my children on the hook for paying for food for these people, or paying for their educations, or paying for their housing. They need to go if they're not citizens of the country. Or, you know what? For some of them, if they're refugees, we're like, okay, you've got about 10 minutes to become a citizen. If not, you're gone. So we'll give you, a few minutes here. We'll stand here and wait for you to become a citizen. If you're not, you're going to get on this airplane. We're going to send you back to Somalia, which is apparently beautiful, thanks to the $9 billion stolen from Minnesota and U.S. taxpayers. But there has to be. This is where we're in a situation where the Make America Great Again generation, the people who support Donald Trump, you will deplete our faith if we don't see heads rolling after this. I mean, if we don't see consequences here, you are in danger of wearing us down. And that is not a good consequence. And I've been normally patient with Pam Bondi, but I want to see her ass in front of a microphone pronto. Pronto. I don't even know where the hell she is, but she better come back from wherever the hell she is and get her face in front of a microphone and tell us what she's doing. There needs to be some serious consequences for this. And I want to see Tim Walz fry like nobody's business. I want to see him pay dearly for what he's done. And I want to see all of his words that ran this country down and ran us down, shoved right back down his throat. This needs to happen. And believe me, The whole Epstein file thing, all that stuff that everybody was so obsessed with, isn't nearly as consequential as something happening with this. This needs to happen. And Scott Jennings put it beautifully on CNN as they all tried to kind of erase the reality of what's going on. But this is Scott Jennings.
No one is being held accountable, that this was just let to run rampant is completely false.
Well, some people have been held accountable, but I think in the opinion of most Republicans, not nearly enough. And truthfully, until somebody in a position of power, until somebody in a position in Minnesota, elected position who was in charge of administering this or having some oversight over it goes to jail, it's honestly never going to stop. Look what's going on in blue states across the country. $9 billion in Minnesota, $70 billion in fraud in California, cooking the crime stats in Washington, D.C. When is someone in a position of power going to go to jail for the rampant
hold on
fraud?
a second.
You can put all the low-level people in jail you want, but until somebody in charge goes to jail, it won't stop.
Yeah. It not only that, not only will it not stop, but you have a possibility of wasting all of the capital you built up for Make America Great Again. Because, yeah, is it fun watching illegal alien Jorge pulled out of his car and arrested for being by ICE? Yeah, it's kind of fun. Is it pleasing to see the border clear? Yeah, it's fun. But I want to see people in handcuffs. I want to see perp walks. I want to see, like Scott Jennings said, jail time, indictments, everything else. One great example is in Georgia. You realize that they had upwards of 15,000 votes that they found were not legally tabulated. 15,000 votes for Joe Biden and for Democrats that were not legally tabulated. You probably didn't hear much about that story because it popped up on a couple internet sites. I think maybe Newsmax covered it, maybe Fox News covered it, whatever. But do you realize that Donald Trump won Georgia in all likelihood? Ho-hum, nothing to see here, nothing to do. Who was responsible for that, and why are they not federally indicted right now? And why am I just reading a 3-column-inch story about how it's highly likely that President Trump won Georgia in 2020? And you do realize that in all these situations where you do realize that these people are just acting with impunity, and until they are held accountable, then you run the risk of disappointing us to the point where we go back to being sideliners, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. And believe me, most Americans, we get the Venezuelan boat thing and all the Commerce Secretary stuff and everything else. But I guarantee you, every single American understands the Somali daycare fraud. Like they know, that's something they know they can get their hands around, and they can see it, and it's infuriating. And it's happening right in our faces. These Somali refugees could care when they're not committing violent crimes in Minnesota. We haven't even talked about that. But most Americans totally understand this, and they can get their heads around it and understand it. And so for that reason, most Americans are looking for blood, and they need to get it. You know what? I just realized I really didn't like this song. I don't know why, but I just didn't realize how awful of a song that was. Ballroom Blitz. Like, did anybody really listen to Ballroom Blitz, like jamming to it, like in their car or something? Or is it that one of those songs that you kind of like have to like? Oh yeah, Ballroom Blitz. Yeah, I love that song. Oh, DLW did listen to it in the car. Okay. I must not have the correct formulation of taste. I don't know. Sometimes I really don't. I don't hit the mark, you know. Hey, this is Common Sense Radio. It's a 3-martini lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to quite possibly, maybe this weekend, drop by Santino's. Santino Cigars and Cocktails. Right there off of 55 at the Imperial exit. SantinoCigarsCocktails.com. And I got to tell you, Mike was in last week, and he is an old school host, a great guy. The variety, because Joe from the station here went down there. He's like, I can't believe the variety of whiskeys that they have. I mean, it's incredible what Mike has down there. And he's got a wine room that is a clear air wine room, so it's non-smoking. You can go in there if you don't like the smoke. But he also has an exhaust system there that is really cool. It's like the ones at the casinos. So people are smoking and doing all this kind of stuff, and you wouldn't even know it because it's all being sucked out into this amazing clean air thing. And then, of course, he also has food. So they've got dinner all through the week, and this is a Sicilian style cooking, and it's really good. I mean, it's great stuff, whether it be some of the basics like pizzas or whatever to some of the finer pastas and things like that. So it's a classy place. It's got a lot of space, and it's just the kind of place I could imagine Mike having, because he did have one a long time ago, but it was a smaller operation, whatever. This is a big one, and he has really outdone himself with SantinoCigarsCocktails.com right there off of 55 at the Imperial exit.
I love the Army. You just have this brotherhood that you can't find anywhere else. Since coming home from war, I've tried so many different things. I just remember thinking, like, it's over.
After being forced to medically retire, Angie battled addiction to prescription medications, eventually losing her house and marriage. Then she found Wounded Warrior Project.
And so I went online, I signed up, and I knew that Wounded Warrior Project was definitely my new community. One of the staff members, she put me in for peer mentor training. It was like for the first time someone recognized something good about me and thought that I had something to give back to someone else. Are you doing okay otherwise?
I've kind of picked up woodworking with my grandfather, so
3D stuff. All those activities gave me a new way to live without drugs, a new way to live without feeling like I'm broken. You can live a meaningful life after traumatic experiences.
You wouldn't go into battle alone. You don't have to fight this alone. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
Today's story behind the story, the years of Prohibition, and what happened when it all came to an end.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday to all of you and yours. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report Like you guys engaged. Well, so DLW, Ballroom Blitz, yeah, man. A Love Is Like Oxygen is definitely a great one. Bob Peterson's Spirit in the Sky, Teresa's favorite song. Aw. Bob, aren't you due for another bottle of Black Market? I've got one for you if you want it. Black Market's popular. And Connie says she's having Spirit in the Sky played at her funeral. Okay. That seems appropriate for a funeral. It's very interesting. Spirit in the Sky with Norman Greenbaum. You know, you never really imagine like a rock star's name being like Norman Greenbaum, you know. Or did he just happen to be an accountant who also wrote Spirit in the Sky? I don't know. I have no idea. All right, coming up, there are some developments on the Department of Homeland Security front and with the showdown with Venezuela. And have you guys seen the growth of the St. Louis cash drops that are happening all around the area? We'll talk about that, too. This is Common Sense Radio, the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Kathy Connor from Connor Roofing is here. Kathy, how you doing?
Good. Hi, Vic.
You know, when you need a roof, I don't want to call a stranger. I want to call you.
Yeah, thanks. At Connor Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company.
How long you been doing it?
Since 1993.
And year after year, storm after storm, you guys are always there.
Because this is our home too, Vic. Our kids go to school with your kids. We cheer for the same teams. Go Blues!
So support your neighbors. Call Connor Roofing at 314-375-7475 or CONNER roofing.com.
Thanks, Vic.
Are you ready to take a totally tubular trip down memory lane? Join us for the ultimate 80s and 90s trivia night, raising funds for the Nick Schroer for State Senate campaign. Dust off your neon, grab your friends, and test your knowledge on all the classics, from mixtapes to sitcoms, boy bands to blockbuster hits, and maybe even some political questions. It's all happening Saturday night, January 31st at the Elks Lodge in O'Fallon, Mo. Reserve your table now by emailing nick@nickschroer.com.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. National Guard troops are patrolling the street in New Orleans as of today. It's the latest heavy security presence authorized by the president. Colin Arnold directs the New Orleans Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
It appears that we're going to have close to 800 law enforcement downtown in the French Quarter, and I think that's going to be outstanding. You're going to see an incredible visual presence in the French Quarter and throughout downtown over the rest of this week.
Last year, 14 people were killed on the city's Bourbon Street during New Year's celebrations. The United States has imposed sanctions on 10 people and firms from Iran and Venezuela over allegedly contributing to Iran's drone trade and ballistics program. The Trump administration says they pose a threat to the U.S. and its allies in the Middle East. President Trump says U.S. forces hit a facility in South America that was connected to drug trafficking.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
Is that the only strike that the U.S. has done inside?
I don't want to comment.
It's slow going in parts of the upper Midwest where a major winter storm dumped snow amid heavy winds. This traveler in Minneapolis says it took her 4 hours to get to the airport over snow-covered roads.
I would say just, give yourself plenty of extra time, and that way, even if things go smoothly, you don't have to be stressed out, and you're ready in case things don't go so smooth.
Michigan was particularly hard hit with power outages overnight. Forecasters say the storm system continues to move to the east. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Mike Gallagher here. Christmas is in the rearview mirror now. If you're anything like me, you're looking at the calendar thinking, okay, what's January going to look like? Let me give you some good news. You can start 2026 ahead instead of behind. My friends at Fellowship Home Loans are still offering one of the most helpful programs I've ever seen. You can refinance your home, lower your monthly payment, and this is the big one, you can skip your next 2 mortgage payments, 2 full months with no payment. That's real breathing room after an expensive December. Maybe you don't want to refi, but you need access to cash. Well, Fellowship now has a fixed rate line of credit. Approval is fast, the rate never changes, and you can use it to clean up those holiday bills or take care of something you've been putting off. I've used Fellowship personally, so has my family. I trust these guys. Before the January bills hit, go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. That's fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Slightly warmer today. The clouds will be increasing a little bit this afternoon, but the high into the mid-30s, and that warming trend will carry us into tomorrow as well, along with the dry weather. Looking for partly cloudy skies on New Year's Eve, the high about 44 degrees, down close to the freezing mark at midnight if you're going to be outside banging the pots and pans. And for New Year's Day, we'll start off 2026 with highs in the upper 30s, and then we'll warm up a little bit just in time for the weekend. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michaels Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michaels has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michaels Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. 800-479-0931. That's 800-479-0931. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens. Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know.
People in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Live and local.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. So, have you seen these? Cash stash prize things on Instagram or anything like that? Or it's all around St. Louis, apparently. The Post has a story about it because it's got. I saw a video actually by this one law firm, the Wilbur's law firm, and I thought I saw it on Facebook, or maybe I saw it on Instagram. I don't know. So they take cash and they take a video of it being placed someplace that you would know, like a planter outside of the Savas Center or the arena, right? The Savas Center. And they say, hey, there's, $1,000 in cash out there. And then everybody starts to go running after it. And apparently what it is you can hire this company to do it for you, and then they market the whole thing. It's Cash Stash STL Instagram on Instagram, and you can go ahead and take it and you could have them drop the money for you and create like this internet campaign, and then people will run and go try to find the money and everything else, and actually sometimes they will. People like 3 or 4 people will arrive at the same place, and the first person who gets it, is celebrating, but the other people are like, damn, I was like 2 minutes late. The only problem with this, because I was talking to Jeff Allen about this yesterday, and the only problem is, like, what happens when you put the cash someplace and then everybody... Well, like somebody goes like 100 miles an hour through a red light and T-bones somebody and kills them because they were going after the $2,000 in a planter outside of Savas. Like, what happens when that happens? I'm not laughing about death. I'm just saying, like, what happens when that happens? Or somebody, like 2 people arrive at the same time and then there's a fight over the money, whatever. I could see all kinds of problems. And apparently it's growing people's businesses, like the Wilbur's law firm. They say they got a ton of new customers and a ton of new followers on Facebook and everything else. And so I get really into watching a lot of music videos and things like that on Facebook, and I could literally get lost, when I'm not watching. Like I saw a couple of these dance videos, and it just is amazing to me. And then I see some classical music ones. Then, of course, I always love the Ben Bankus comedy routines, because Ben Bankus, I sometimes have to pick and choose what I play, because Ben Bankus occasionally will cuss, and so I really can't necessarily play it on the radio. But if you guys look up Ben Bankus, Bankas, he's really funny. He talks like us, and one of the things that really truly is amazing to me is how many people love the guy, because people like him, who are people like me, I'm not nearly as funny as he is, not even close. What I'm saying is we're all looked upon as being racist and intolerant and all this other stuff. But Ben Bankus is really super edgy, and he's very topical. And I played him for you like a couple weeks ago, I played some stuff for you from him. And he's really super edgy, but you'd be surprised how many people like his humor. And it's very refreshing because there are roomfuls of these people who are laughing. I mean, and it's men, women, I mean, people from all walks of life who think he's really super funny. And he's the one I played for you a while back when he talked about he's let me just put it this way, he's edgy. DLW, you know what I'm talking about, right? And I got to keep an eye on him because I got to make sure that when he comes to St. Louis, I got to have him on the show. And I got to go see him because you guys, I guarantee you, if he comes in town here, and Ashley, maybe you can look it up and see if he's like coming in town anytime soon. I don't know. We could figure it out. But if he's, and you guys can look it up for me if he can. And if he's coming in town, I guarantee you we will have a ton of fun going to see him. All right. So at this stage in the game, there are some people who are calling for Tim Walz to resign as governor because of the rampant fraud. The fraud that most people in the mainstream media are trying to play down and pretend that it didn't happen. And you have to understand that this fraud and what has happened here is actually part of a Democrat plot that has been active for the last 20 years, maybe 10, 15 years, because this goes all the way back to the Obama days. Barack Obama really started this Democrat ploy to flood the country with refugees and flood the country with immigrants, and illegal for that matter. It didn't care whether they were legal or not. And that was part of a plot. And if you guys remember a long time ago that the replacement theory was laughed at, like it was a white supremacist weirdo conspiracy theory about the replacement theory. And it was mostly geared towards white replacement. But by now, I think I'm realizing that the replacement theory is real. And it didn't only include white people being replaced, it included black people being replaced. And when the Democrat Party started to realize it was losing American-born blacks as a voting bloc, when blacks were starting to get wise to the fact that Democrats were not helping them and lying to them, and oftentimes enlisting the step-and-fetch-it blacks who are basically on the plantation of the white liberal establishment. They were utilizing them to kind of coerce the black people into obeying the Democrat. So people like Al Sharpton and people like Maxine Waters and people like James Clyburn and all these individuals, and Barack Obama too. Barack Obama was really actually a product of the white liberal. Barack Obama was the white liberal black Frankenstein is what he was. And so he was a creation of white liberals. That's who Barack Obama was. And white liberals loved him because he wasn't too black, right? Because white liberals don't like it if you're too black. So being kind of mixed race, and then every once in a while, Barack Obama would be like, do the pimp walk up on stage or whatever, depending on who he's talking to. But Barack Obama was a product of the white liberal, so he was perfect for their plot to kind of change the pattern of this country. What did that say, Ashley? What does it say?
It said nothing for St. Louis, but he's apparently coming to New York in January.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. I see him everywhere. So Ben, you got to come to St. Louis. We'd love you here. You know that, right? Okay, good. So anyway, the minute that the Democrat Party started to realize it was losing blacks, as well as, for instance, other and more like middle-class whites and things like that, the Democrat Party had to manufacture a voting bloc, and the best way they could do that would be trafficking humans into the country. That was how they were going to do it. So they would create a whole new culture of people who would still buy the crap that they were slinging out there. And so, because other people got tired of them and weren't buying into their stuff anymore, so they had to start importing people from other countries to kind of create a new voting bloc and a new set of virgin ears and eyes. And on top of that, what the Democrats would do would also bring them here, like open borders, and then give them money and take care of them. Free money, free housing, free jobs, all educations and everything else. And so the white liberal Democrat is an enemy of this country and has been for the past 20 years. And I'll give you an example of this. Yes, Phil, free healthcare too. Yeah. Hey, Tony Marshall, how you doing? She is down in Dallas, and the barbecue capital of the world. And I remember going there, man, that was about 4 or 5 years ago. I still have my T-shirt though from the barbecue place. I forgot what it was called, so you can remind us of that. But it's nice to see you back on the Facebook page, Tony. And I hope you and everybody there doing really well. And their barbecue is good. I just ran across the T-shirt the other day, and I do still wear it. It's just been a little cold here. Anyway, this is Tim Walz in 2022, and he's basically admitting that he actively trafficked in importing foreigners into Minnesota.
That we have more refugees per capita. We're a state of immigrants that values that. We have more refugees per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future. This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school, and
That's terrible. That's terrible. Like, like 50 languages spoken in a school is a good thing to the insufferable white liberal, because it makes them feel like they're being moral, and they're tricking people into believing diversity is a strength, and it's not. Diversity is a way to water down whatever it is you're trying to battle, which is consistency, patriotism, motivation, all those kinds of things. And so the one thing that we have been lied to about for decades is the idea that diversity is a strength. Diversity is actually a tool that liberals use to water down whatever it is they want to water down that represents anything commonsensical or conservatives or independent, for that matter. So that's not to say that I don't like black people, Asian people, or all that kind of thing, because you know what I'm talking about. So when I say, so what'll happen is somebody could take my comment and call me a racist, but they know what I'm saying is true. 50. How many languages did he say is spoken in the school?
See every cultural future. This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school.
you should be jailed for that. I'm sorry. 50 languages spoken in a school. How does any normal human being think that that is a good thing? That's a positive thing. And you know what? It's funny because I know that if you're liberal and you're listening to the show, you're thinking, man, Allman is really like a right-wing, white supremacist racist. But you know that's not true. You know what I'm saying is true. If you just think about it for a second, I want anybody out there to tell me, and you can call into the show even if you want to, 314-912-1019, 314-912-1019. Ashton's like, no. And explain to me, I want you to be able to intelligently explain to me how 50 languages in one school is good. And I guarantee you, there's not one person out there who could adequately explain why that's a good thing. There's no way. I challenge you. I wish I had enough money to basically, bet you like $5,000. I give you $5,000. Ashton will give you $5,000. No, Jeff and Joe will get Vic Porcelli will give you $5,000 if you could adequately explain why 50 languages in a school is a good thing. Okay? Oh, Mark Kaysen, you see, Mark Kaysen will adequately. I was just thinking about him, in fact, while I was doing this, because I need somebody to call me a racist or something. But you know what? Let me call him. Let's do it. I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to call him on this line and see what he has to say. I'm going to just call him right now and ask him to explain to me. Here we go. Better answer too. I know you're listening to my.
I better answer.
Yeah, you better answer. Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Hey,
Festivus.
I want you to explain to me, because there is a person who is offering $5,000 to anyone who can explain how 50 languages spoken at one school is a good thing, as Tim Walz was just bragging about.
Well, I can tell you right now that over at Roosevelt High School here in St. Louis, they have many languages. I don't know if it's 50, but it might be 25. And it's very good. I mean, you got people from different cultures that speak different languages, and people are maybe encouraged to learn more than what they already know. That's pretty easy.
I want you to find one black kid at Roosevelt who thinks that any other language other than American is a good thing. That English is what I'm saying.
Yeah, English. I'm glad you said that. Well, I think that would be pretty easy, to tell you the truth. And I haven't been at Roosevelt for a while, but I knew plenty of kids at Roosevelt that spoke 2 or 3 languages, and I just don't understand the point.
Well, here's my point. Here's my
put down.
Black people hate diversity. You know why?
Oh, stop it.
They do. You know why they hate diversity? Because they know that means they're going to go to the back of the line again, that they're going to be at the back of the bus again. So whenever some Hispanic or Asian or Somali or African or whatever comes in, black people know what diversity means. They've learned it over the past couple of decades, that when a white liberal mentions diversity, that means back of the bus again. That's what it means to black people, which is why they voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump.
Oh, wait. That was a lie. That's just like all the stuff that Donald says. I mean, 80% of black women voted against Trump. That's number one. And number two, 12% of the black vote was in favor of Trump. 12%. That's nothing. That's the same number they always get.
Well, I'm not talking about a bunch of crabby black women. I'm talking about mostly black men who voted for Donald Trump because they know what the deal is, they're the head of the household, and they're the ones who made that decision for the family.
I think what you need to read and get off the black part of it is this brand new book. It's really good. You know who Scott Galloway is?
I do not, and I don't read.
Okay. Well, he's a professor who wrote a really brand new great book called Notes on Being a Man. And, you know, for years I've been telling you, men are just disgusting.
Notes on Being a Man.
And
now, first of all, who is this guy? What do you mean, notes on being a man? I mean, you know what? Let me tell you something. Any man who writes a book called Notes on Being a Man isn't a man.
Yeah. Well,
he's a wuss.
You forget the discussion that we've had for years about, you know, why do men think that if they stand on a corner and a woman's driving down the street and they yell, "Hey, babe," why do they think that a woman would be interested in that?
Only you would go back to 1973 at a Mr. Microphone commercial. Because otherwise no man does "Hey, babe." Nobody does that.
What they do.
Oh, come on. What are you watching? Like Happy Days or something?
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Way, this book is so good. It really points out the problems that men have in this country.
Hey, babe.
They can't get a job. They're falling apart.
All right. Enough. Okay. Let's put it this way. I'll have a more substantive conversation with you at another point. I'm out of time, but I wanted to see whether you could answer, anybody could answer, how 50 languages in one school is a good thing. And you did not successfully do that, so you do not win the $5,000.
Okay, but at least you got my anti-man commercial.
That's good. Golly, man, you are such a self-loather. But that's okay. I will talk to you soon.
You bet.
Thank you for picking up. That's Mark Kaysen, who could not. I told you they can't answer it because it's not true that it's a good thing, and only a person like, see, I don't really use the R word because I have a member of my family who happens to be special needs, and I don't like that word, so I don't use that word. And I guess even if I didn't, I wouldn't like that word because I just don't like that word, so I don't use it. But only a person like Tim Walz could possibly think that what he's saying here is actually something of virtue.
We're a state of immigrants that values that. We have more refugees per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future.
Well, so of course, that in itself is a statement that reveals the plot that Walz and the rest of these people were engaged in. So because they were actually bringing these people in as an economic force, but it wasn't really an economic force. It was just a bunch of people who they were going to utilize for their campaigns or for their fundraising or for whatever it happens to be, and as cheap labor or whatever, or as money launderers. And that's what Somalis in Minnesota are right now, for the most part. They are money launderers for their white liberal masters, through the daycare, through the home health care, through the Operation Food, whatever it is for kids, all that kind of stuff. So they were used by the white liberal establishment in Minnesota.
This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school.
Yeah. I mean, and Tim Walz thinks that that's a good thing, and most people absolutely do not. And I was dead serious. I'm not kidding when I told Mark Kaysen that, and I can't speak for black people, but I will say that the fact of the matter is when they hear the word diversity, they coming out of the mouth of a white liberal, they know exactly what that means. And that's pretty much what it's all about. Ray is on the line. Okay. Hi, Ray. First of all, thanks for listening to the show. And secondly, thanks for calling into the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a few years since I've gotten through to you.
Okay. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm going to take your challenge, but I'm going to do it a different way. You said, how's it good for anybody? It's good for the liberals who want to have a dumbed down voting population because it's driving down test scores. People can't learn. I mean, language unifies. It creates cohesion. It allows the United States to have a competitive edge or advantage if you can go anywhere and speak one language. But if you have 50 languages in the school, they're not going to learn.
Right.
So then it's a voting block for the liberals, or I should say for the socialists, and they're easier to control. So
Yeah.
it's good for somebody,
Right.
just not for the students.
Right, exactly. That's well put. It's kind of Ray, like a scattering. You know what you do when you start dividing people, because that's what 50 languages actually does. In spite of the fact that they think that's like unifying and everything else, that's actually dividing. But that's how you conquer. So that's what they do.
So I'll take a check.
Well, I was saying no. Oh, I was saying a good thing. You know what I mean.
I know.
Hey, by the way, are you still? I think you're the guy doing the wine, right?
Yes.
You still do that?
I still do that. Anytime you want to try some good bourbon instead of martinis, or some wine instead of martinis during the lunch, just let me know.
Okay. Well, what? Well, give yourself a plug. Let people know what you're doing.
Well, I work for Breakthrough Beverage, and anytime their favorite country club or restaurant wants to do a wine dinner with like Prisoner, Mondavi, things like that, they can just generally talk to Breakthrough Beverage, and I show up. But I also do food and wine videos on Wild Wine Life, where I show you how to make things like cumin venison or venison tartare.
Wow.
Or you can see my interview with Charmaine Nugent and other people.
Oh, wow. Well, you guys need to advertise on the Allman Report. That's what you need to do. All right, man. Well, stay in touch, Ray, and I appreciate you calling the show.
Anytime. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, that is, and that's what it is all about, is diversity is division. It's not unification. And division helps the people who want to dismantle and destroy. That's how you turn the tables and bravely speak about it. Don't worry about what they're going to call you. You know, I made so much sense to Marcation that he didn't even mention Trump's name one time or use the word Nazi. So we're making progress. It's Common Sense Radio.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Tim Jones here from my great friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. How do I know? Simply put, they've helped me on many occasions. Here's another solution to your everyday aches and pains. The Studio Health and Wellness Center. Services include Pilates and yoga, both with certified instructors. I can also highly recommend the massage therapy, which is not an indulgence. It's a proven method of healing and restoration. Trust my friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
Hey, Mike Ferguson here. And for nearly 40 years, Nutrition Stop has been St. Peter's trusted source for natural living. They've got a great, knowledgeable staff offering more than just products. They provide guidance on your wellness journey with exceptional service. From 100% grass-fed meats like elk and bison and local produce to quality supplements and clean household products, 4101 Mexico Road in St. Peters, just off the interstate at Cave Springs and Highway 70.
Hi, this is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the region's largest RE/MAX real estate brokerage. It is cold outside, but the real estate market is hot. This is a great time to buy or sell a home. Interest rates are also declining, which gives you more buying power. Someday is not a day on the calendar, but today is. Call me at 314-852-8933 for a free custom home buying plan. 314-852-8933.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the News Talk STL app.
Anywhere.
Me about how you ought to be. You ought to be with me. Yeah, you ought to be with me. Thinking about what people do. Talking.
You know, it's interesting how good it feels when you say something that is true. I know that sounds weird, but but it's not. It makes sense. How do you feel when these words come out of your mouth? That diversity is a scam. And when you ask a liberal to explain to you how diversity is a strength, they can't do it. Invariably, what will happen is they'll explain that diversity is a strength because it slows the pace of white conservatives and black common sense individuals, because it'll always go back to that. Because you really can't. I mean, I consider myself to be fairly intelligent. And I also understand, I also know, like, the other arguments. I love having and explaining the other argument because it's kind of like when you're a prosecutor, you know, the best prosecutors have always been defense attorneys before, and the best defense attorneys have always been prosecutors because they know how the other side thinks. And so when I try to get my head around, like, I understand why they're this and why they're that and why they're, or I understand why some people celebrate Kwanzaa. I get it, everything else. But one thing I have not been able to come up with is an answer, even if I just kind of faked it and made it up, as to how diversity is a strength. It doesn't make any sense. I can tell you how a melting pot is a good thing, because keep in mind, when people say melting pot, everything is in the pot and melts together. So melting pot is actually a positive thing, not a negative thing. Diversity, I mean, if you just take the Latin root, div, division, diversity. That's what it is. So diversity is really not anything that is bringing people together. It's dividing people. That's why that's what the word diversity means. Like when you have a diverse portfolio, you don't have everything in one place. You have everything divided out into separate investments and things like that. So how the word diversity managed to be a thing that meant people coming together is beyond me. Like, it doesn't even make any sense if you take it and diagram it from an English language point of view. Diversity means the opposite of coming together. But liberals use diversity and the word diversity to mean coming together when it's actually not. That's how crafty the left has been. With the help of the news media, they literally reformulate the English language to the point where a word that means division means coming together when it doesn't. That's called propaganda. It's called basically gaslighting, but that's what propaganda is. Where you don't really you use these words that actually totally mean something else when you deliver those words, but on paper they mean exactly what they are. That's manipulation. That is how people propagandize. It's they talk about when it came to like they'll use words like abortion care. And you're like, abortion care? What are you talking about? That kind of thing. And that's exactly what the and you talk about what the Nazis did. Goodness gracious. It's totally out of the Goebbels playbook, is creating words, inventing new definitions of words to manipulate and trick people. And also, of course, to lure people. And so, again, if you put it that way, I mean, it feels good to be able to tell the truth. That diversity is not unity. Diversity is diversity. And when you put it that way, they're like, well, I thought that was a good. Well, it's not really. It's a good thing if you're if it's a diverse portfolio or a diverse menu, something like that. But diversity for diversity's sake is solely used by the white liberal to divide and conquer. And that's what it's all about.
More refugees per capita than any other state. That's not just morally a good thing. It's our economic and cultural future. This beautiful diversity we see out in Worthington when I'm there, you see 50 languages spoken in the school.
Yeah, which adequately confuses pretty much every child in the school. And that's precisely the point. A person who speaks, what is Somali? Is that what it is? Isn't being helped by continuing to speak Somali in an English school. When everybody speaks English, everybody is clearly going to understand each other. When you have 50 different languages spoken in one school, nobody's going to understand each other. I mean, this is as easy as pie to figure out. But Walz is such a diabolical manipulator and white liberal grifter that he actually thinks, and what's crazy is people actually believe what he's saying. Wow, they speak 50 different languages at the school. It's like, wow, that's got to be confusing for a lot of people. That can't be good. In one school, 50 different languages? And chances are pretty good he's lying. So it's probably more like 10. Because these people just, well, Tim, why don't you say 100 different languages at that point? I mean, you're taking you're using the Austin Powers numeral system.
And you see every storefront filled with different types of foods, different types of businesses that are happening. Minnesota needs to continue to do that. The office of governor can set the tone on that. We're going to continue to need to diversify. We're going to have to put policies in place that make sure we're attracting teachers of color so that students of color have someone that they understand, look like, think like, see like in front of them.
This is disqualifying coming out of a politician's mouth. And it's only the white liberal and black liberal grifters who say that a student has to have somebody teaching them who looks like them in order to succeed. That's a total lie, and it's a total ruse to try to replace people and do whatever. Like if a white person said, you know, I need more white people here because my white students want to see white faces. That would be otherwise known as a Klan meeting. But that's how crazy it's been, is that if white people talk about the virtues of other white people, they're racist. But if white people talk about the virtues of anybody else who's not white, they're virtuous. I hope you guys are taking notes to keep up with all this stuff, this mumbo jumbo. It's Common Sense Radio.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Colombo and Company.
Join us every day for conversations with a wide variety of guests as we keep you informed and up to speed on all the important news and headlines you need to know.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Bringing this song up again because it's true. But I noticed something in this Al Green song I didn't notice before. That horn section there. It sounds like a mixture of a trombone and a trumpet, maybe. Yeah, it's a little bit of a trombone and trumpet mixture there. Noticing these things as I wait for my blue trumpet to be delivered to my doorstep. If you missed the show yesterday, I announced that I'm going to be playing the trumpet and the piano by March. Yeah, said Al. And when I ordered the trumpet, I ordered a blue one because I thought that would be groovy. I bet it is. If it's not, I'll take it back to Whole Foods and send it back to Amazon.
Love and happiness.
So here's another reality, people.
Wait a minute, something's going wrong.
The lie that has been told to Americans about renewable energy sources and things like that. So far, Americans, thank you to Donald Trump, who has rolled back the death spiral that is renewable energy, electric cars, windmills, and solar power. That is good for a lot of things. Like, I would love to heat my pool with solar power, but you're not going to fly an airplane with it. And you're not going to do that with wind, although wind does help airplanes fly. I get it. But what's happening in Europe is a different story. So Europe put the accelerator on renewable energy sources because Europeans are gullible, liberal, and stupid for the most part. And they're so stupid that they're being eaten alive by rapey migrants and everything else who run cars into their Christmas markets. And it's why the three countries, France, Germany, and the UK, have canceled their New Year's Eve celebrations. Some of them have been going on for 60 years. But all three of them canceled their New Year's Eve celebrations and didn't have the courage to explain why, but we know why. We know why. But anyway, this is another thing that has to do with the renewable energy. So they basically littered, for instance, Germany with windmills and solar power and all that kind of stuff, and basically gave up on coal. As a result, their power grids, as we saw, for instance, in San Francisco, that power grid that went out so quickly, power grids are not as strong as they used to be. And because renewable energy like wind and solar power, it takes longer to power up. And when you use it, you're draining it faster. And that's just a simple fact of science with it. So you're having power grids right now, for instance, in Germany, that are weakened already. Frequently, they have blackouts and things like that. But the end of Germany may be nigh, thanks to a meteorologist. Well, not thanks to, but, based on a observation by a meteorologist who has seen weather models for what is to become of the German winter. And the weather models are indicating that there is a really super good chance that Germany will have another winter of the century. Back in 1962 and 1963, it was a terrible winter in Germany. It was described at that point like this cold, crazy winter that lasted forever. It was the winter of the century. But back then, Germany didn't have a power grid that was powered by wind and solar to a large degree. They used coal. They don't anymore. This meteorologist says that if there is another winter, and it looks like there will be, like the winter from 1962 and 1963, if there's another winter like there was then, this time, Germans will freeze to death because their power will go out. Their power grids will be crippled by the extreme cold and the extreme weather because they bought in to wind and solar there's a chance a lot of them will die this winter because they won't have any power. Their grids will collapse due to the cold. So that's a scary thought, but an example of how a lot of people who have this liberal thinking and whatever else, they have all these grand plans, but then when the chickens come home to roost, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to react, or they'll just simply fake their way through it. I don't know what's going to happen. But this guy says that based on the weaker power grids, thanks to wind and solar, Germany better pray that there's not another winter like the winter of the century that occurred in 1962 and 1963. And I pray for them too. I don't want anything bad to happen to these people, but I think hopefully they're made aware of the precariousness of their power grids thanks to being lied to by a bunch of liberal green crazies who have inconvenienced them at the very least and could wind up killing them at the very worst. So hopefully that's not going to happen.
Happiness is when.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, coming up, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Colombo and Company. And thank you for listening to the Allman Report. Ashlyn, thank you for everything. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day. It's the 3 Martini lunch that is hereby endeth. Have a good one, everybody.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Producer Joey V from the Tim Jones and Chris Arps show here, reminding you don't waste a buck on movies that suck. Tune in to Joey V's Movies